How do you actually prove tutor time happened without resorting to a giant, messy spreadsheet? Well, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you're a well-being coordinator or principal staring down an upcoming inspection, this question probably keeps you up at night. You absolutely know the work is happening in your classrooms, but trying to capture that reality on paper without completely drowning your staff in administrative busywork, it feels literally impossible. But stick with me, because in today's explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how you can bridge that gap. Our main focus today is automated evidence for the Tutor Time program. We are going to look closely at how schools are successfully moving away from the exhausting manual burden of administrative tracking and shifting toward absolute efficiency and total inspection readiness. To do this, we'll be breaking down the mechanics of the Skilly platform, which is an Irish well-being and SPHE tool built specifically to solve this exact headache. All right, here is our roadmap for the explainer. First up, the well-being evidence gap. Second, efficiency and publishing just once. Third, automated inspection readiness. And finally, practice to perform.
So let's jump right into section 1, the well-being evidence gap.
You know, this is the current reality for so many folks in the Irish and British school systems right now. Delivering is easy, but proving it, that's hard. Running the actual tutor sessions with the students is what educators are trained for, right? Frankly, it's the part they do incredibly well. The real friction point, the actual challenge here, is proving it to an inspector, week after week, in a format they can easily evaluate. It usually looks something like this. Quote, a spreadsheet nobody has time to keep. I mean, we have all been there. You open up an evidence folder, and there it is, that blank, menacing spreadsheet with a cursor just blinking back at you. It represents this massive, daunting amount of manual labor that just drains valuable time away from actual, meaningful well-being work. Relying on tired teachers to manually log every single interaction, it just isn't sustainable.
Which brings us to section 2, efficiency and the concept of publish just once.
Okay, let's shift gears from the problem to a really calm, practical solution. Enter Skilly. Think of it as a central hub, a true efficiency engine designed specifically to eliminate all that administrative friction. The goal here is that your year-long tutor well-being program practically runs itself. So instead of constantly chasing down your colleagues for spreadsheet updates, the whole thing gets streamlined into 3 super simple steps. Step 1, the coordinator publishes the plan. Step 2, the system auto-fires the prompts. And step 3, tutors run the session and ticket delivered. That's it. It completely replaces reactive manual tracking with proactive automation. Let's actually break down what this looks like in practice. The absolutely crucial point here is the number 33. 33 weeks. With this platform, the well-being coordinator sits down and publishes a 33-week tutor time plan exactly once. Just think about the relief in that for a second. You set it up at the very beginning of the cycle, and the heavy lifting, the planning, and distributing of the curriculum is entirely taken care of for the whole academic year. Now, once that plan is published, here is the magic of what happens next. Every single morning, that day's reflective prompt fires automatically right into every assigned pupil's diary. There is literally zero extra daily administration for the staff. And these are not just generic prompts either. They are cycle scaffolded, meaning they're tailored specifically for junior voices, TY voices, and senior voices. And absolutely crucial for the Irish school system, they are fully available in both English and Irish. The system just knows exactly who needs to see what, and it delivers it flawlessly. Then we get to the actual execution in the classroom, which takes just 15 minutes. The tutor runs a focused, impactful session each morning, and when they're done, they simply ticket delivered in the system. Talk about low friction. There are no massive forms to fill out, no clunky spreadsheets to update. You just teach for 15 minutes and tick a box. Done. Moving right along to section 3, automated inspection readiness. Because, look, ticking a box is fantastic for the teacher, but what is the payoff for leadership when review time suddenly sneaks up on you? Well, it all comes down to another number, 400. The 400-hour well-being hours requirement. With this automated setup, every single 15-minute session that gets ticked as delivered counts automatically against this metric. The evidence literally builds itself every single morning without anyone having to do a single bit of extra math.
And here is the part that truly matters when an inspector walks through the door, the automated evidence roll-up. Every session ticked and every reflection written rolls up completely on its own. The delivery evidence maps perfectly to your DEIS themes, the hours track flawlessly against that 400-hour well-being hours requirement, and the best part? At the end of it all, the termly report, including the DEIS Plus term report, exports as a single, neat PDF with just one button press.
Honestly, this is the real aha moment of the whole explainer. Just think about the contrast here. The old way means assembling evidence manually, right? It's a stressful scramble of chasing down teachers, printing out spreadsheets, and frantically compiling physical folders right before an inspection. But the automated way generates it automatically. It is literally the difference between frantically building a house brick by brick during inspection week versus simply handing over the keys to a house that built itself over the last 33 weeks. It's generated, not assembled.
And that brings us to our final section. Practice to perform.
I want you to just imagine this scenario for a second. You publish the program once at the start of the year. Your tutors run it in just 15 minutes a morning. And then when the big day finally comes, you walk into your whole school evaluation or your DIS review with the evidence already completely built. The moment you close your laptop, your evidence pack is 100% ready to go. That right there is what true inspection readiness looks like. The stress is completely replaced with absolute certainty. Which perfectly brings us to the core tagline of the Skilly platform, practice to perform. Because when you automate the evidence and when you finally remove the burden of that awful spreadsheet, you actually give time back to your educators. You allow the entire school to focus on the actual, meaningful practice of student well-being rather than getting totally bogged down in the paperwork of proving it. You focus on the practice, and the platform performs the admin.
So, I am going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought to consider today. Are you ready to let your well-being program run itself? If you're tired of the manual assembly, if you want your 400 hours tracked automatically, and your DEIS themes mapped without lifting a single finger, well, it might be time to seriously rethink your workflow. You can explore exactly how this works for your specific school by trying out the demo over at app.skilly.ie. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here is to a much more efficient, stress-free school year.